you joining us today. Um, I'm excited that we're able to provide some additional training for you. I will tell you that all of the regions, all the training we've done so far, enumerators are very excited. They provided us positive feedback and they like the new iHire system. And I know that it's a new system. It'll take a little while for all of you to learn it and feel comfortable. And that's why we're here today. So enjoy and learn, and let me know if we need to do any follow-up, or if you need additional help, and we'll be glad to help you. Unfortunately, our HR coordinator, Farah Creer, who is part of our NASDA headquarters team, is a little under the weather this morning, and she couldn't join us, so I'm pitch hitting for her. But Emily DeMasters is the iHire support expert, and she's going to be leading the training today. So, Kevin, I don't know if you have any opening remarks, but if not, I'll turn it over to Emily and we can get started. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Glad that you guys are all here before the long weekend. Hope you guys have something fun planned. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And basically what we're doing is we're just going to go over how to post a job, and it's very easy. And can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Emily, thanks.
Okay, perfect. So here is our jobs tab, and we have some set job questions in the system already. So that makes it even easier. I know you guys are hiring for a lot of field enumerators. And so we have, this is basically where you create your groups of questions. And as you see with the field enumerator, we already have some questions in here. And you guys are able to require or make sure that it's required, like they can't go on through the application without answering. You can also make it a disqualifying question, which means that it basically helps you guys filter out applicants. You know, if you are not able to work full time, then, you know, you're not going to get invited to complete the application. So it's a really quick and efficient way to, you know, basically move forward with applicants that are actually, you know, right for the position. And it's super easy to create it. We just go to new job question group. You put in the title. Let's say that this is a group of questions that, you know, you want to ask the same questions as that field enumerator position. You're able to copy these questions as well. And so it'll add those questions, and then you can, well, looks like I already did this with this one. So here's the new test one. We'll go ahead and archive that one. So once that's created, it has these same questions, right? And let's say you want to add more questions to it. You'll go ahead and click new question, and, you know, let's see. And then you're able to pick the different type of answers you want. So you can ask basically any kind of question, because you have the ability to ask or have an answer type that will fit that. You know, if you want someone to explain, you know, tell me about this certain experience and how you handled it, sort of thing, you can do a large text. If you want to make a checklist of different skills that the person has and they can check that off, you're able to do that as well as drop down menu and yes or no questions. So it's very simple to ask those questions, so you can really, you know, really make it a point to find the applicants that you're wanting. So any questions on how to add job questions? Nope. Okay. Then we'll move on to our job templates. So it looks like we have, like I said, you guys hire a lot of field enumerators. So this template is already in there. And when you're wanting to create a new job template, this is what you do. You create that, you put the title of it. and then you put in the job description. And you'll put in the field enumerator application. And let's say it's for a different position, then you are able to do, I believe, Charlie, is it the office application or is it the NASDA phone enumerator application for the other positions?
Yeah, those are the two main ones that they will be using, field enumerator or phone enumerator templates.
Okay. All right. So that's what you would put then for the external application setup. I don't know with you guys if, since is it non-exempt for, since it's a, I guess, a government type of position, right?
No, it's not a government, and they are, oh gosh, now I can't remember the classification. I think we're non-exempt.
Okay, so yeah, that's where you would put that. This is where you would assign your job question group. So you can connect that group of questions to this template. And then you're able to put the job location as well. And if you aren't able to see the location that you're needing, then you can always add it as well. With the add new, you're able to put in the location. But your locations should be in here, but if it's not for some reason, you can add it right there. And then since you guys are the Northeast, then obviously you would click that one and assign the department to that template. So let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like when it's actually filled out. So we have the title, we have the description. And what's nice is that once you put in a template, it's in here. And so you don't have to add it again. And so you can just use that template to create a job listing. So, okay, we have here all this filled out. It doesn't have the job location, which is good so that it's a, it's a plain template. So it doesn't matter what location it's for. It's just in there. But for this template specifically, we're assigning it to the Northeast. So we'll go ahead and, oh yeah, we'll just do it from scratch. We'll go over to our job listings. And so this is where you create the listing. We select the template. And so it'll fill out everything because the template's already in the system. And then we come right here and we make it a current opening. So that means like you're ready to hire, you're ready to push it out to the job boards, and you're ready to get going. You can also list it as a future general interest. Let's say you don't want to push it out to the job boards just yet, or maybe you have, people manually like applying, like bringing in applications and that sort of thing. That way we can actually manually add applicants to the position since they're not, applying on the job boards. And this is where you're able to put the pay information. As you see, we have $15 an hour. You can do the pay rate, hourly, benefits. So we have that listed here. You can list those things in your benefit section. The employment type. The department is obviously the Northeast department because that's where you guys are at. If this is a remote position, then you're able to classify that as well. And you're able to assign people for new applicants. So they get notified every time there's a new applicant that comes in. And so I'm using Janice's login. That's why this is in right now. And this is where you're able to also assign the job question group. So let's see. We'll just make it a future right now, do full time. Lots of benefits. This is just going to be a test one. So. I picked Janice Usett to be my user because I like the name Janice, like Janice Joplin. So that's why I use that one. Okay, we'll do the job location. Let's do that one. I don't do that. And then we go ahead and click save and proceed to job advertising. So this is what shows up when you post a job. And this is where you're able to also push out to social media, Facebook, Twitter. If you guys have, if you're either connected to, I don't know if NASDA has a Facebook page itself, but if you're logged into the NASDA Facebook page, then you can just click the Facebook icon and it will bring up the job listing so you can post it as well, which is kind of a cool thing. You're also obviously able to do that with Twitter and LinkedIn. And with the job push history, this is where you're able to see what all job boards it's been pushed to. And obviously it doesn't show Indeed because it's not actually getting pushed out. It's just being a current, or it's a future general listing. But once you post it, you're able to see all the job boards that it actually gets pushed out to.
Emil?
It's Emily, but
Hello?
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a couple of questions that are popping up in the chat area. I don't know if you're seeing those.
Let me go ahead. Sorry, let's see.
Oh, I didn't even see the IE. I just saw 2 L's. My bad. So sorry.
Okay. I was like, Emil, is there an Emil on the call? Oh, okay. Sorry. My other Zoom popped up and I'm like, I don't see any chats. Okay. How do we get the templates? I don't seem to have the templates pre-populated in my system. That question is, and we would have to make sure that Josh, that you have, that you're assigned to these departments, because if you're assigned to these departments, you should be able to have access to those job templates. Because yeah, let's see. Let me go ahead and make a note real quick, because that's something I can check about after.
I have a question from an enumerator on that same note that just got passed down. One is saying that they don't have that same dashboard and they can't see the job questions.
Okay, so it makes me think that Charlie, I can't remember who was on the call last time, but she was the one that made sure that the managers were attached to the departments that they're supposed to be attached to, and make sure they have the access to the job templates.
Right.
Is she on this call?
This is Charlie. We have filtered the system so that supervisors are assigned only to the state and the area that they cover. And when we set up the system, we had to set that up manually. So we may have missed some people, because keep in mind, we have about 350 supervisors across the country. So if you're not seeing something on the dashboard, or if you're seeing multiple states, please let me and Farah know at NASDA so that we can make that correction and filter you correctly so that you are seeing and receiving all of the appropriate information for your state.
Okay, so that's done on your end, then that they'll let you know if they don't have all the access to it. They will let you know, and you guys will give them accessibility to the job templates and that sort of thing for their state.
That is correct.
Okay, so the people that are saying that they're not able to see things, it looks like, that'll get fixed. That'll get fixed later, where you'll have access to your location, and then you'll have access to these job questions and templates and listings. Okay.
Thank you. I'll start getting a list of names because it seems to be pretty widespread.
Yeah, it looks like it too. So if you could get a list of names and, you know, yeah, then we can get them access to. Charlie, are you wanting them to just have access to a specific state, not just the department of like the Northeast states?
Yeah, because they will see applicants from all of those states. So
Right. Okay, I believe I can't remember her name for the life of me, but she was gathering up that information from the last call, which was, I think, the Southeast region. So if we could get that done again and get her involved so that we can get that all situated, so everyone has the access that they need.
yeah, we're happy. Farah and I will be happy to provide access to whatever supervisors, coordinators, or budget and accounting technicians need. If the supervisor needs access and wants access for multiple states, we're happy to do that. We want to make it as easy and efficient for all of you. So just let us know, and we'll be glad to adjust your access as that works best for you.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and go to the next question, Maureen. If I create a new job question group, is that available to everyone using iHire or just to the creator? It is available to everyone because this is one site, this Associated State Departments of Agriculture. So it will be shown to everyone. So if it is specific to your job location, then you can put things such as, you know, Missouri, Illinois, or the Joe Jackson, just to differentiate it. Okay, if we use the field enumerator template, are we able to alter it? I wouldn't recommend that if the field enumerator position is universal, like that's the main thing. What you can do if it, you can, I guess it depends on how much you want to alter it, because if it's just a couple of things, I would just use the field enumerator template to create that job listing and then edit it right here. So that was John's question. But if it is a position that, you know, there's lots of things that you want to alter about it, then you can create it as a new template, but specify, you know, field enumerator and it's for your specific location, that sort of thing. We got a hand up. Go ahead, John.
That was my question, and what I was looking for is using that basic template and then putting in the different location that I may be looking for, a specific location, i.e. I cover from the northern part of New York State to the southern part of New York State. So I may be looking for somebody in northern New York and somebody in southern New York. So I was looking to alter the location, not necessarily the description of the job title.
Okay, yeah, so that would be really easy. What you can do is you create the listing, and then down here, you would put the job listing location. And since it's going to obviously be two different zip codes, you would do two job listings, one for the northern and then one for the southern. And the only thing you need to change is the job location.
I'm not able to use the template with all that basic information in there?
Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, so
Okay.
you're able to use this template. So you just click on the template that you want. It'll autofill everything. Obviously, you'd want to change things such as, you know, this location. But since the rest of the information is, you know, universal, then you're able to keep this template. Just make sure you change this location and then the location down here.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So let's see, let's go on to Annie Ross. Yesterday, and it one of the child questions I never seen before and not touch those. Now the question, do you live in Idaho? How does that happen? Okay, Annie, let's go ahead and see. Okay, I'm not seeing the do you live in Idaho question. Annie, can you let me know where you saw that?
Yes, I was in there. In fact, I have that screen open today. And, you know, you can see the resume and then you can see the job questions. And this was for a Northern New York listing. And before this, the job questions had always been kind of the boilerplate. And for some reason, suddenly there was a different set of job questions. And I don't know how that could have happened.
Okay, this was in the applicants tab.
It's in the applicants tab, applicants by job, and it's my job is St. Lawrence County Agricultural Field Enumerator, St. Lawrence County, and this is someone named Crystal Travers. And it's also asks, are you physically able to lift up to 25 pounds? Do you live in Idaho? Do you live in one of the listed counties? And how old are you? So none of these are my questions.
I was gonna say, I'm not seeing.
This is Charlie. Annie, follow up with me and Farah so we can
Okay.
take a look into your account. I think you are seeing questions that other supervisors have posted, but the basic template of job questions should not should be the only one showing unless you specifically pick one of the questions that other supervisors have
Yeah,
have
I
archived
had,
there. So follow up with us so we
Okay.
can make sure that the filters are working correctly for you. Okay.
yeah, because previous to this, it was just, you know, the standard template was fine with me, and that's what had showed up for every other applicant. So I don't
Right.
know what happened here. I will follow up with
Right.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, I had developed and put together the basic template for job questions. It's the standard thing. Are you available to work weekends and holidays? Do you have any experience with computers or iPad? Just the standard questions. But a lot of
Right.
supervisors have, as you know, have additional questions. So you're able to create additional questions to fit what your needs are. And but follow up with me and Farah so we
Okay.
can make sure that it's filtering right, so you're not seeing questions that others are posting.
Yes, apparently something got crossed wires there, so
Right.
The template is fine for my purposes. The
Okay,
original
thank you.
one. Thank you.
Okay, so in Harris, again, Farah and Charlie will get together to make sure that you have the access you need to see this information on your dashboard. Karen, how do we administer the NASDA assessment to an applicant through iHire? I guess, Charlie, is that something that these managers are going to need access to, assessments?
I think what Karen is talking about is the enumerator selection aid, or as I call it, the enumerator quiz. That is part of the workflow. Once an applicant fills out the employment application, it's the next step is going to take them to that that enumerator quiz for them to complete. So they will do that online as part of the workflow. Karen, did that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. As I
Okay.
said, we tried to make this process as easy for supervisors and budget and accounting technicians as possible. So in the past, you gave them a pen and a paper to do the application, then you met with them, then you gave them the test. And again, we're eliminating all of these steps so that the new potential new hire is doing all of this online, and you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, Maureen?
So a question for Charlie, or for you, where do we see the results of that enumerator quiz on this job board?
Oh, off
Or
the
do we
top
get
of
an
my
email or what?
Carlin or Missy, do you know? I can't remember. Maureen, let me follow up with you, okay? I can't remember off the top of my head where you see the results of that.
I'm gonna say either ask Annie or maybe even Carol, because they've done all of.
Yeah, Carlin, it's in the application. So when you go back in the application, once they've done the test, you'll see all that information show up. And I think that it's probably under summary that it will show up.
I
But
think
you
it's
haven't-
Carol, it's Annie. I think there's an actual button that says job questions. If you're looking at a specific applicant, there's a series of buttons like above their name. And one of those, I believe, says job questions.
Yeah, because once they've filled out the application, then a lot of things get populated inside their information. And you're getting your work experience, your education, your references, and then the additional questions show up.
I have a question. If someone fails a quiz, what happens?
You have several options. They can retake it or contact me and ask me, but it's very rare for people to fail that test.
Is it timed? Is the test timed?
No, it's not timed.
Carol is right. The button says additional questions in that series of buttons in that applicant's page.
Can we look at one, go to all applicants and look at one?
Let's see, we don't have any applicants on here. Give me a second, I can log in like with my login. So 1 second. Okay, so when you guys do start getting applicants, this is what it looks like. Be able to click on the name and then all the information for, oh, it looks like this one doesn't have the additional questions. 1 second, let me go back. It was just on someone that did have them. Of course, I can't find it again. Are these the additional questions that you guys are talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so this is where their answers would be, obviously, for this. Is this the quiz that you guys are talking about?
Yes.
Okay,
So those automatically populate as opposed to those other question groups?
yeah, so this is actually part of the application. So it's like a set thing for the application. So you don't have to add those questions or attach it to the job listing. This is where those job question groups that we went over, this is where they would show up. But for the actual application, the additional questions are a set thing that are when you go to, so we split it up into 2 parts. The first part for the application is, you know, the 3-minute quick apply where they answer those initial disqualifying questions. And so if they are able, you know, if they're the right fit and they meet the requirements, then they're invited to complete the rest of this information.
And on this example, this is exactly what that supervisor did. They added some additional questions, and those additional questions were specifically about which days of the week were they available to work. And there may have been some others I didn't see when Emily was scrolling down, but that shows you how if you want to have some specific questions added other than the 5 that I set up as the template for those questions, this is where you would do that.
Charlie, this is Carol. You have to invite them to do the application and the questions. So you're going through either emails or texts with the applicants to get that information.
That is correct.
What we can do though is we can have them, if they meet the requirements for the first step of the application, then we can make it so it's an automatic invite to complete the application with the second part with all this other information.
Emily, this reminds me, can you show them how to invite an applicant? Because this is a situation that a lot of supervisors run into. They come across someone that is a potential candidate. They run into somebody at a feed store or in the grocery store or somewhere who somebody that hasn't answered a posted ad. Can you show them if they know somebody from personal contact that they want to invite to apply for a position, how they would do that?
Yeah, definitely. So you end up having this little button right here, the ad, and you go ahead and click add applicant. You pick the position that you want them to apply to. And then you fill out, they're going to need an email address and first and last name. You can fill out this information. It's obviously not required. But by adding that applicant, it emails them the actual application so that they can fill it out. And then you're also able to upload the resume as well.
Thank you, because a lot of times supervisors run into somebody or family friend will say, hey, I think this person would be a good enumerator. So basically all you need is their email address. So you can add that in and it will send them an application to for them to fill out and they can start the process.
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, Yolanda.
Yeah, I guess my question is on the enumerator selection aid or test. I guess I kind of watch them when they're taking that test. If we're putting it and just the reactions, just, you know, nonchalantly, how quickly they get it done, just the use of just them thinking or whatever. And I guess if we're having them do it online and there's no time limit, how do we, how are we assured that it's really them, or if they're looking up answers, or I guess just what's going on when we are not there?
Yolanda, this is Charlie. That may be the case. We don't really know, but this is how we're doing it. We're not doing it the old way. This is how we're doing it going forward. And if somebody is not truthful or honest on the test or anything else, believe me, it's going to come out when we run either the background check, or this is exactly why we have a 6-month probationary period for new hires. So we'll know. So don't worry about that. This is how we're going to do the administer the test and going forward. So one less thing for you to have to worry about.
If I could, Charlie, this is Karen Fike. If I could add to that, I've been giving that quiz to everyone that I have hired. And I can tell you that when I first started doing it, you know, how it was a trial and error kind of thing. And I first started and I gave them 24 hours to send it back to me. And my criteria was, if you don't know the answer and you can look it up, do so. Because if they're out in the field working or they're working from home, if they know how to use the resources they have, if they can look something up online, they don't have to know the answer. I'm glad that they're, taking that initiative and doing that. And I also noticed that when I first gave them 24 hours and then I ended up cutting it to 2 hours and then cutting it to 1, the shorter period of time I gave them, the better the scores became. So I think they were putting more into it and thinking this is more serious and I need to concentrate on this and sending it back. I don't think they were spending more time working on the quiz when I gave them more time. So that's just what I've learned from experience.
Yeah, appreciate those comments.
Okay, so Mark, how do we know which job questions we should include for our region? I guess, Charlie, you would be able to let them know which job questions you want them to add.
That is up to the supervisor, and that has always been the case. As I said, the template of questions is about 5 questions, which I developed, and they're just basic questions like, are you available to work holidays and weekends? Do you have any experience with a computer? These are the standard questions that any supervisor might ask when hiring. Supervisors may, at their discretion, have additional questions that they want to ask an applicant, just like the example that Emily showed you from another supervisor who specifically wanted to ask what days of the week they were available. So that's up to the supervisor. And I think you'll know what type of questions you want to ask them or what additional information that you want. And if you don't want to do it in the application process, when you meet with them, you can always ask them additional questions and, do it that way.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it, Charlie. Yeah, as far as like the whole as far as starting up the initial job and how this is all set up in the beginning, I know this is going to be on the supervisors. So is this still a situation with if they have like technical problems or further questions about that, do they reach out to, I guess, you and Farah?
Yeah, Farah is taking the lead here at NASDA headquarters, so they should reach out to Farah if they have any technical questions or any problems, and she will be glad to help you. You can always, if you don't have Farah's email or not sure how to contact her, you can contact me and I'll share it with her, or you can email us. We both check the new enumerator support email, which is enumeratorsupport@nasda.org, and
Okay.
we'll respond.
Okay, so for Jeremiah, can we make an address required? We need it to onboard into iSolved. So basically, when you manually add someone, the main information is their name and their email so that they can get sent that application. And when they end up filling out the application, they create an iSolved login. So in case they have to leave the application at some point, they can log back in and finish it. But when they do set it up, that's when they get where they put in their address. And then it will end up showing up on here on their applicant page. And then with Bonnie, so there'll be no more hiring someone face to face. Really, basically, this system is to make sure that all your applicants and all their information is all in one spot. So I know it's a little different than what you guys have been doing, but this ends up being, a lot easier to keep track of all your applicants and all of their information. All of the contact that you do with your applicant is done right here on the applicant tab. You're able to send a message, and all the correspondence is done right here between you and the applicant. And so you're not having to bounce back and forth with your email and such. And you're able to, we have some set templates in here that you can send, or, you can just write your own message as well.
And this is Charlie. Let me just clarify for Bonnie and everyone. You can certainly hire and interview and talk to potential candidates face to face. There's no reason why you can't do that. But the application process and all of the paperwork that you are used to doing in the past is going to be done online. As you go through the application process and start reviewing candidates after you post a job, you will see there are options for you. You can follow up by email. If you think they're well qualified and have great experience, you can contact them, either call them or email and say, hey, let's meet in person and discuss more details about the job. So you can hire and meet with someone face to face.
Okay, these are great questions. Does anybody else have any more questions? Anyone? Okay, well, Charlie.
Yeah, these are great questions, everybody. And I'm going to say, don't overthink it. Just enjoy it. Go in, play around with it. You're not going to break it, and see how it works. If you have specific questions, follow up with me and Farah, and we'll be glad to help you. If you all want some additional refresher training, we're happy to arrange that for anyone who wants it. I would also encourage you to take a look on the NASDA website, where I have a new tab under personnel resources that is for iHire training and resources. There are ongoing live webinars that the iHire team and Emily and all of them conduct. And you can register and join those at your convenience. And those might be helpful to you. There are also a chat feature and iHire support team that you can contact. Emily, you may want to show them on the screen how they contact somebody if they need help while they're in the system. But they can always contact me and Farah if they need help as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you want to get a hold of someone in support. You go ahead and click this gear icon. Move my chat and click contact us. So we have our support team with their email and their phone number. They're available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we also have our FAQ right down here, or if you want to click right here. So you can just put in keywords and it will bring up user guides and videos that pertain to, you know, anything to do with that keyword. Go ahead, Carol.
Sorry, I'm on an iPhone, so things go funky when I'm trying to find unmute. Now, if they answer a question, and I had someone just disappear on me because I reactivated my ads again. And one person I saw the other day, and there are red flags next to certain things, like can he work full time? Can he work weekends? Now, all of a sudden, he's disappeared. Was something changed in the last couple of days? Because you had said that if they're not qualified, that it wouldn't come through. But we should be able to see them if they raise a red flag. Because if they say, well, I'm not working weekends, but don't understand the kind of job, obviously you want to explain to him that, you know, you're not working 16 hours on the weekend, that it is intermittent and flexible. But this guy just disappeared now.
Let's see.
And
So-
I have everything on. I have all statuses. I have active, all departments. Because 2 came in and his is gone. I had to find the email to find his name. So
Right. So it probably is because he was disqualified, because he, especially if you made it a disqualifying question, you can filter out disqualified applicants. Like
okay.
people-
Well,
so
that
that's
goes back to what Annie was saying with the Idaho. We haven't had the option to do the questions. They just automatically and magically appeared when we got their application and test back. I would like to see everyone, even if they're disqualified. I mean, some will obviously be disqualified, but there may be some things in there that they didn't understand the question. And we should at least be able to see it.
okay. Yeah, that's the thing. That's all you have to do is come right here, and then you can just even do both. And so it show all applicants whether or not they're qualified.
Well, I'm showing all applicants right now and he's gone.
That wouldn't be something that is done like by us. That would have to be someone, you know, on your guys' end that either archived him. Let's see.
Well, no one's supposed to have access to our personal stuff, because that was an issue before, because when Annie and I were both doing a lot of hiring, we were seeing both New York and New Jersey together.
Okay, so it looks like that would come down to people having access, like you know, like the access that's given to them. So if someone else has access to the state that doesn't pertain to them.
Yeah, I think this is Charlie. I think it was a filtering and access issue, Carol. So if you have that situation and if you still need help, contact Farah in our office so she can take a look and help you.
Okay, because I'm looking at archive now and I have nothing archived.
Yeah, I think it was a filtering issue regarding access. So let Farah know or me, and we'll look into it for you.
Okay, Farah's available for questions?
Yes, Farah should
Oh.
be available. As I said, Farah Creer is my colleague and our HR coordinator here at NASDA headquarters, and she is taking the lead on iHire. So she would be your contact if you need help with iHire. But you can
Okay.
also copy me and I'll share it with her as well.
Okay, Charlie, because we're still waiting to find out how we replenish text credits.
We're not allowing that. That is an additional cost. So you need to be careful. You use credits if you are text messaging and it's not unlimited. So you have to make sure you don't go over the limit because we're not extending that or providing additional credits.
Well, at
Charlie,
least-
this is Annie chiming in on that issue because I was the major offender in using up all of our text credits because an application will say applicant prefers communicating by text. And so even, you know, a very brief exchange gobbles those up.
Well, I'm happy to take a look at it and see what we can do. But as I said, there's a limit in the system to how many text messages you can use. And at this time, we're not extending or expanding that limit because it's an additional cost. So you have to be careful of how many credits and you're using when you're using the text message feature. But I'm happy to look at it going forward. But that's how we have it set up currently.
Is there a way that you can remove that option where applicant can select, you know, prefers text message? Because as more people start using this system, I mean, Carol and I jumped right into it and it's a great system. I found some enumerate, but those text credits are going to go even faster.
Okay, well, Annie, that's a good point, and I appreciate that. And if you, so I don't forget, with my busy schedule, can you send me a reminder email so that I can review this and discuss it with Farah, and let's see what we can do to make it better for you. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I think if people didn't have that option, maybe that would help and they would just have to live with email communication.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, this is a new system, so we're all learning it and figuring out all the bells and whistles that it offers. So, you know, we all are in this together as a team, and we're all learning. So, your feedback on all of these things are very important to me and to Farah. So, I appreciate it, and I'm happy to look into it.
Good. I'm sure there's some solution there. I felt
agree.
really bad when I burned through those in no time flat, but live and learn.
I agree. We want this system to be better and an improvement and able to work smarter and more efficiently for supervisors and coordinators and the BATs. So let us know if you have any suggestions. Your feedback will help us make the system better.
Thank
Charlie,
you.
Charlie, it's Carol again. I didn't want to say that Annie had burned through all of our credits because we were sharing the accounts at that time. I totally agree with her. If you remove that, they have the option of either phoning or email, and I think that's sufficient. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but I don't think that we have to text them back.
Well, I'll review it and we'll see what we can do to make it work for everybody.
Hey, Charlie or Emily, if I was an applicant and I applied and then all of a sudden I decided the job wasn't mine and I withdrew it, do I disappear at that point off of these applications?
No. Once the
Okay.
application is filled out, it's in here. So, basically you'll end up realizing that they're not interested by the lack of communication. Like they'll stop answering your emails or not completing steps or that sort of thing.
I was just trying to find Carol's hidden person.
Do you remember the name, Carol? Okay, we'll come back to that. John, do you have a question?
Thank you. Those tax credits, are they by supervisor, by region, by state? How are they determined? I believe there's 50 tax credits.
I believe it's by the account. So with all the managers that you guys have, that's definitely something that, Charlie will have to look into.
So by account means whole nation?
Yeah.
Johnny, it means everybody is limited to 50.
As we look through that list of applicants, if each one did it one time, the 50 would be gone in a matter of hours. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to look into it and I'm going to review it. Since some of you have said that you really use it and it's a good tool to have. So stay tuned. I'm going to review and I'll let everybody know what we're going to do going forward.
Okay, with Bonnie said, so there can or will still be job hires available, put in papers. I believe that that's something that, Charlie, that you guys would do like on your own, like iHire doesn't post to newspapers. I'm assuming-
Emily,
Yeah.
Alexander Mancher is the application that disappeared. She put it in on a chat.
Yep, there he is. Yeah, so you can look up applicants right here in this search box, search applicants. But what I did was I made sure that it was qualified and disqualified both, and then also active or archived both. And then it'll pull up his application. So that's how you find people that, have been archived for some reason or were disqualified.
Okay, I'm still not seeing him. Oh, I'm sorry, I do see him now. Okay.
Okay.
This is Charlie. Are there any other questions? Where it's after 12 noon, but don't want to cut anybody short.
So Mike, so we have to be granted access to the templates. Again, that will be, Charlie and Farah will get together about giving access to what you guys need for your location. And then with the references, let's see. For Stacy, references are on the application. Well, it's not for. References are done on the second portion of the application. I can find someone that has filled that out. So it'll be right there on their applicant tab. And like Charlie said, go ahead and shoot over questions to either him or Farah. And if Farah needs help with stuff, she'll reach out to me as well.
Any final questions before we wrap up this session? Maureen, did you have?
Sorry, I was gonna say real quick, what's the final day that the cutoff as far as accepting the paper application? Is it the
Now?
third? Now? Okay. Just making sure, because
We have implemented the system, so people
Right.
Should be using this because this is the process that we are using. But
right,
if you have a special situation, you should let me or your budget and accounting technician know, and we will work with you. But people should be using this now. We have implemented it, we have introduced it, and this is the process going forward.
yeah, I've had, yeah. I understand, but hopefully other people that are on the call that maybe in the Eastern Mountain region hear that as well.
Maureen, your hand is up. Did you have a question or?
Yes, so as far as I understand it, the additional questions, which is the test, will automatically populate, and references, the request for references automatically populate. But when Emily looked at a bunch of field enumerator ones, actual applicants, there were no references and there were no additional questions. She had to hunt to find somebody who actually had them. So did they not populate in some of them, or did
Some of them, the supervisor may not ask for references, or they may not have provided them.
Okay,
And the
so
supervisor is at the discretion of a supervisor of whether they want to ask additional questions in addition to the 5 questions that we have as a template in the system. That's at the discretion of the supervisor.
well, no, I thought you said that the test automatically populates, and that's additional questions. The other is the job question group. I understand that part.
Yeah, the test will show up in the application because that is part of the application process, just like on onboarding. You fill out the application, you take the enumerator quiz, and you set up your iSolve account. There are all of these things in the workflow.
But why weren't they showing up when Emily was clicking on applicants? It wasn't there.
What wasn't showing up was the additional questions that a supervisor at their discretion provided. All of the other information, the quiz questions
No, it wasn't.
and results, they were showing up.
Okay, I can understand the confusion as well. My filter on here has both disqualified and like when I was searching through it, it had both qualified and disqualified and also the active and archive. So it's like with the disqualified, they won't finish up that second portion where they do the references and those additional questions. And then also a lot of these have applied, but maybe they haven't completed the second step.
And there's no way to tell, because I mean, you were like searching for one, so wouldn't there be a place that we could see this person completed those steps? Or are we gonna just have to search around to look at all our applicants, or 50 applicants? Did they finish this? Did they finish this? Shouldn't there be like a little, you know, check mark or a little thing that says they completed certain steps?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me go ahead and check up the application setup.
Emily,
Yeah.
this is Carol. What we had done was, you get emails. When someone applies, you get an email saying that so-and-so has applied. Then the next step that I had done is I contacted them how they asked to be contacted and set up a phone interview. Then I sent through the application. The application includes the test and all the questions. Once they fill it out, you get an email letting you know that that there's new information that's come through. So the system has been automatically generating emails for us, which is how I know when something was completed.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So that makes sense. So these applicants are coming in from everywhere, and you are going to have access to the applicants that you're assigned to, and you'll get notified when you have a new applicant and where they are in the process, and you can invite them to the second step.
So we have to manually keep track of where they are by looking at our emails, as opposed to being able to look on the job board, or not the job board, looking at iHire and being able to look at our list and seeing where they're at. Is that correct? We have to do it manually instead of being able to see it on our list, because just from Indeed, I get, 30 applicants or whatever. Normally, I haven't used iHire yet.
No, we will. This is Charlie. Maureen, follow up with me, and we'll go over some of the process, because you will be able to see the status of the applicants, what they have filled out, and what step that they're in. But follow up with me and Farah, and we'll go over that. In the interest of time, I want to see if there are any other specific questions, because I have to leave for another meeting, and I know you all are probably busy today as well. Any final questions?
Yeah, what do we put this time to?
Carla, that's
I would say use project code 363, which you would normally use for the Feedback Friday.
Yep.
Thank you.
well. As we wrap up, I want to thank Emily for her wonderful assistance in demonstrating iHire. Thank all of you for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. As I said, go around, play with the system, see how it works. Let us know if you need some refresher training, or if you have specific problems or questions. Follow up with me and Farah, and we'll be glad to help. This is developed for all of you, and we want to make the process easy for you. So let us know how we can help. And thank you, everybody. And we'll be in touch. So goodbye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Emily.
Welcome. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Jelaine?